So what is cloud computing? Well, probably one of the easiest ways to describe it, what it is by a quick example. In an organization, traditionally you have a data center. There's a number of servers in there. On those physical servers you have the operating system, then you have the applications on top of it, which are accessed by your end users, clients and so on, whether it be using your laptops, PCs, mobile devices, you name it. Every time you want to be able to change something and add a new server in place, it takes time to go and acquire that particular server, obviously costs money as well, and there's a whole lot of effort required to be able to set that up. So it's a huge amount of effort and cost every time you want to be able to change something. This is where cloud computing comes in and really makes it easy. Okay, so we look into the cloud to try and make this easier. Well, if we've got a private cloud within our organization, we can use virtualization technology, grid computing, utility computing to really make this much more effective and easier to deploy applications and new servers. So by using virtualization technology, you can add servers, you can remove them, you can grow them, you can shrink them, which ultimately ensures that the infrastructure that we've got is utilized much more effectively. It also makes deploying an application much easier. You can take a number of minutes, deploy by an administrator or maybe even a developer without even having to go to the administrator. This frees up people's times and makes life much easier. And everything's much more cost effective. Hey, that sounds great. So, what's all this public cloud computing? Same concept that we just talked about, the private cloud within our organization. Now, with the public cloud, you can use somebody else's infrastructure. This gives you a great opportunity to leverage their economies of scales, their endless computing power to extend your own. So it really makes it much easier, much more cost effective for you to be able to extend your applications and your servers out there, whether you're using platform as a service, software as a service from some of the major vendors out there. This is great stuff. So the three key benefits of cloud computing are: one, speed and time to market. You can now get a server up and running in a matter of minutes, whether it's an application or an entire platform. Number two, you get to free up your IT staff so they can go do more important stuff while you've got a developer, let's say, deploying a development environment. The third item is you get to lower your costs, whether it's better leveraging your own internal infrastructure and hardware and software, or using the public cloud to leverage the economies of scale from that large utility environment, computing platform, grid computing, and so on. These are some of the key areas you can reduce costs. So this is really great for your business. So again, just some more details on the flexibility of cloud computing. Generally, what happens is you purchase infrastructure and software based on what you expected requirements are. And generally you get things wrong. Sometimes you want to be conservative and you buy more capacity than you need, and you've got a lot of wastage and underutilization of that software and that hardware, so you're paying more than you need to. Also, other times you might not have enough capacity. So you might have a load on the server and you end up with a lot of unhappy customers. What cloud computing allows you to do is to scale that infrastructure and the software on it for the time that you need it and when you need it. So you're getting that, keep your customers happy, keep your costs low. So one of the things that you're going to find out there is the cloud isn't for everybody all of the time. There are definitely some very specific scenarios, specifically when it comes to portal and mashups, of when it makes sense and when it doesn't make sense. One of the key scenarios that we find is the stepping stone one. Stepping stone one is when you might have a new business venture, you want to try something out very quickly, or you've got to move very quickly with a particular project because you've got a time constraint. And going down either the traditional route is either too expensive or you don't have enough time to be able to do it. This is where you can leverage the cloud technology as a stepping stone and then go on-premise or purchase the software and run it on the cloud and bring your own license model down the road. The second scenario is the fluctuating capacity one. This is when your peak load is significantly higher than your average load. And what you end up with over here is that traditionally you would have had to have purchased the software, which might have made it unaffordable or very expensive in the long run to be able to maintain that infrastructure and that software going forward. Now take, for example, a site that only, let's say it's a retail site, and during the holiday season or a couple of times a year it gets to that peak load. Most of the year you've got it sitting there idle, so it becomes very, very expensive. This is when, again, cloud computing allows, and the utility computing model, which is part of cloud computing, allows you to only pay for what you use. So you're only paying for the infrastructure and the software based on the particular usage patterns, and then you ultimately keeping your costs low. Okay, so we've talked about some of the benefits, and there's definitely scenarios when this could make sense for you. So we'd love you to go out there and try Portal and Mashups, and also Forms Turbo out there on the cloud. If you go to Amazon Web Services, you can go, if you're an ISV, you can get our no-charge development version up and running. If you're a customer, you can use our production-ready system, whether it be for development, testing, or your actual final production system. Happy cloud computing, and let us know about your success. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for your time.